Hello student, in this video we will see the question answer of the chapter number 3. Let's see the first question. Write one example of each of the first one, that is a metal which is so soft that it can be cut with a knife, and a non-metal which is the hardest substance. The second question, a metal and a non-metal which exists as a liquid at room temperature. Whenever we see the difference of the metal and non-metal, the physical properties of the metal and the non-metal, in that video we will see that generally all the metal are hard, but there is two metal which is exceptional case, which is so soft and it can be cut with the knife. So that is of sodium and the potassium. While in the non-metal, generally they all are in a gaseous state and it is generally not hard in structure. But one exceptional case, that is a hardest substance of non-metal, that is of diamond, and which is a form of carbon. So the first answer, that sodium which can be cut with the knife, and the another one that is of a non-metal which is hardest in the world, it is a carbon form, that is of diamond. Now let's move for the second question. Mention the name of the metals for the following. The first one, two metals which are alloyed with iron to make a stainless steel. And the second question, two metals which are used to make jewelry. As we know, for the stainless steel, we are using a mixture of nickel and the chromium metal. And the second one, that is generally used for the making a jewelry, that is of gold, platinum. Also you can write down the silver. And alloy means that is the homogeneous mixture of the metal, that called as a alloy. Now let's move further. Third number question answer. State three reasons for the following facts. First one, a sulfur is a non-metal, and the second one, that is a magnesium is a metal. One of the reason must be supported with a chemical equation. So first of all, write down the physical property of the metal and non-metal, and then after you can write down the chemical equation, means the chemical properties of the metal and the non-metal. In that we have to take the example of the sulfur as a non-metal and magnesium as a metal. So the answer is first one, sulfur is a non-metal. In that, as we know that the non-metals are poor conductor of a heat and electricity, while metal is a good conductor of heat and electricity. So we can show that reason into the magnesium is a metal, that the magnesium is a good conductor of a heat and electricity. Another physical property of the non-metal, that is it is neither malleable or nor ductile, whereas we see that the metals are generally malleable and ductile. Now the third point, in that we have to write down the chemical equation. So the sulfur which is react with the oxygen and form a sulfur dioxide. And for the magnesium is react with the oxygen and form a magnesium oxide. we see in the chemical properties that non-metal oxide are generally acidic in nature, while the metal oxide which is basic in nature. So here you can see the SO2 means the sulfur dioxide, which is acidic in nature, or you can say the acidic oxide, while the metal, that is of Mg plus O2, it's formed the MgO, means the magnesium oxide, which is basic in nature. If we react this non-metal oxide with the water, then we get the sulfurous acid. If the sulfur dioxide is react with the water, then we get the H2SO3, means the sulfurous acid, while the metal oxide which is further react with the water to get magnesium hydroxide. Now let's move further. What is a cinnabar? How is metal extracted from cinnabar? Explain in briefly. As we know that cinnabar is the HGS, means the mercury sulfide, that is called the cinnabar. From the cinnabar we extract a mercury, and as we know that it is a form that ore is form of sulfide. So for purification of that metal, it is done by the first process, that is called the roasting, and then it is converted into its oxide, and then after we get the mercury. So let's see the answer. Here you can see the cinnabar means HGS, means mercury sulfide. So the mercury is obtained by the roasting cinnabar. Here we are using a roasting process. Why? Because the ore of the mercury, that is in a sulfide form, and if any metals or it is in a sulfide form, then we have to go for roasting process. While the roasting process means the HGH, which is further react with the oxygen and to form a HgO, means the mercury oxide. Along with that, the SO2 means the sulfur oxide gas elutrate, you can say the liberated. And the second, further we are heat this mercury oxide to get mercury and the oxygen which is released. And this oxide is a thermally unstable. So while heating mercury oxide, we get mercury. And for the more purification, or you can say the other process, if we are not going for the roasting process, then also mercury can be purified by the distillation process. And the equation for the distillation process, that is HGS, means the mercury sulfide, which is react with the oxygen to get a mercury and sulfur dioxide. Now let's move further. The question number 5. Write the electron dot structure for the potassium and the chloride. Write the electron dot structures for potassium and chlorine. The B, that is show the formation of KCl by the transfer of the electron. C, name the ions present in the compound KCl. For that, first of all, we write down the electronic configuration of the potassium, the atomic number of the potassium, that is of 19. So the electron arrangement, in the first cell 2, second cell 8, third cell 8, and the fourth cell, or you can say at the valence orbit, the valence electron is 1. While for the chlorine, the chlorine atomic number that is of 17. So the electron arrangement that is in first shell 2, second shell 8, and the valence orbit, or you can say the valence electron, that is of 7. While the making of the ionic compound, we have to see this valence orbit only, in that valence electron only. Here you can see the potassium consists of 1 electron in the outer orbit, while the chlorine contains the 7 electron in their outer orbit. So what happened? This potassium is donate 1 electron and get positive charge. So it forms the K plus electron is released. This released electron which is used by the chlorine. How? For the completion of the orbit, the chlorine require 1 electron. So this 1 electron that is given by the potassium, this 1 electron is accepted by the chlorine, and then the chlorine get the negative charge. Here you can see how the KCl, formation of the KCl is occur by the transferring of the electron. So this 1 electron of potassium that accepted by the chlorine. Here you can see the potassium give 1 electron from their outer orbit to chlorine. So the new electronic configuration of the K plus is become a 288, while for the Cl minus it become a 288, because here you can see the K plus would donate 1 electron to the chlorine, and this 1 electron is accepted by the chlorine to satisfy the configuration. And how the KCl is formed? The C equation that name the ion which is present in the compound KCl. In the KCl, that is of potassium chloride. So it contains the K plus and Cl minus, means the chlorine minus, K plus and Cl minus. Now let's move further. The 6th number question, that is state the electron dot structure for the calcium and sulfur. The B question, show the formation of CaS, means the calcium sulfide, by the transfer of electrons. And the C, that is of name the ion present in this compound. CaS means the calcium sulfide, and the atomic number of the calcium which is given, that is of 20, and the oxygen, that is of 16. So the electronic configuration of the Ca, that is of 2882, because the electron, how many electron possess calcium? 20. So the electron arrangement in first cell 2, second cell 8, third cell 8, and the fourth cell 2. While for the sulfur, it contains a 286 because its atomic number is 16. So the electronic configuration of the sulfur, that is of 286. So what happened in the formation of CaS? These two outermost orbit cell possess this outer calcium possess 2 electron in their outer orbit, while this S means the sulfur would require 2 electron for the satisfied their outermost orbit. For the, here you can see in the outermost orbit calcium possesses 2 electron, while the sulfur possesses the 6 electron. So Ca lose the 2 electron, or you can say donate this 2 electron to the sulfur. So the Ca, which is become a Ca plus 2 because it donate the 2 electron, and this 2 electron is accepted by the sulfur to get S minus 2. Here you can see the bonding between the CaS, that is 2 electron, which is denoted by the cross. The outermost orbit of the calcium, it possesses the 2 electron which is donated to the sulfur. You can sulfur require 2 electron. So Ca plus 2 and S minus 2, because by the losing of these 2 electron by the calcium to get the configuration like a noble gas, and this sulfur also get 2 electron from the calcium to get the noble gas, like a noble gas configuration. So the CaS is formed. Now the third question, that is name the ion present in this compound. CaS means the calcium sulfide. Here the Ca plus 2, whereas for sulfur it possesses 2 minus ions are present in CaS. Now let's see the long question answer, and it may ask the 5 marks each question. The 7th number question, A, write the electron dot diagram from chlorine. Chlorine atomic number, that is of 17, and calcium, the calcium atomic number, that is 20. Show the formation of calcium chloride by the transfer of electron. and identify the nature of above compound and explain three physical property of such a compound. Here you can able to understand that is this called calcium chloride, which is formed by the transferring of the electron. So the bond between this, it must of ionic bond. So for the B question, we have to write down the physical property of the ionic compound. Now let's see the A number answer. As we know that the atomic number of the chlorine, that is of 17. So the electronic configuration, that is of 287, and calcium, that is of 2882. So this calcium donate 2 electron to the chlorine, and this 2 electron which is accepted by the chlorine. Here you can see the CaCl2 is there. So the 1 electron is accepted by the 1 chlorine, and the second electron which is accepted by the another chlorine. So by that get the CaCl2, that is of calcium chloride. And the B option, identify the nature of above compound. CaCl2 means the calcium chloride, and it is formed by the transferring of the electron. As you can see, from the outermost orbit 2 electron is there. So the 1 electron which is donate to the 1 chlorine atom, and the another electron which is donated to the another chlorine atom. So by that the CaCl2 compound is formed, means the calcium chloride compound is formed. So this kind of compound is known as, or that nature of that compound we consider as a ionic compound, because here the formation of the ion, due to the formation of the ion, if any compound is generated, then we can say that that compound is a ionic compound. So the answer is, it is an ionic compound, and the physical properties of the ionic compound, that is of it is a hard and solid, and it has a high melting and the boiling point. And the third one, that is it is a soluble in the water. The fourth property, that is of ionic compound, in the molten state the ionic compound are good conductor of electricity. Now let's see short answer type question. It may ask in a 3 marks. The 8th number, you are given a sample of 3 metals, sodium, magnesium and copper. Suggest any 2 activities to arrange them in order of a decreasing activity. The first activity for the sodium, in that sodium is react with the cold water vigorously to form a sodium hydroxide, and along with that the hydrogen gas is generated. So the sodium which is react with the cold water only, and it form NaOH, means sodium hydroxide, and along with that the hydrogen gas is released. While the magnesium who does not react with the cold water, but it is only react with the hot water, and it form a magnesium hydroxide, and along with that the hydrogen gas is generated. So the Mg which is react with the water, but here the hot water is there. While the hot water is there, then the magnesium is react with the water to form a magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen. And the third metal, that is of a copper, and the sodium is more reactive than the magnesium. Now let's see the activity 2. In that, magnesium is react with the copper sulfate to form a MgSO4. Here you can see the displacement process is happening. This Mg takes place the place of the Cu, means, and the Cu is displaced. So the Mg is formed MgSO4. Mg is react with the CuSO4 and MgSO4 is made and a copper metal is displaced. But if we are doing the reverse process, means the Cu is react with the MgSO4, then the no reaction takes place. So the conclusion is that in the first two metal, the magnesium does not react with the cold water but the hot water to form a magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen. So the sodium is more reactive than the magnesium, and the magnesium is more reactive than the Cu. The next question, you are provided with a magnesium ribbon and sulfur powder. Explain with the help of activity that metal oxide are basic and non-metal oxide are acidic in nature. To test the nature of the oxide formed by the metal and the non-metal, and for this activity the requirement is sulfur powder, magnesium ribbon, water, blue litmus paper and red litmus paper. Let's start the procedure. First of all, we have to take a magnesium ribbon with a pair of tongs and burn it into the flame in the presence of air. Then after, collect the product which is formed and then later on dissolve it into the warm water. After dissolving it, just check it out with the litmus paper. Here we are using a red litmus paper. Now the fifth one, that is of burn sulfur in deflagrate spoon in the presence of air and dissolve the oxide formed in water. Then the dip blue litmus paper into the solution and observe the change in the color and decide the nature of oxide formed. Now let's see the observation. The oxide which is formed by the metal, which turns the red litmus paper into the blue, while the oxide of non-metal, which is turns blue litmus paper to red. So it gives the conclusion that the most of the metallic oxide which is basic in nature, while the non-metallic oxide are acidic in nature. Let's see the chemical equation or chemical reaction. The first, as we react the magnesium with the oxygen, then it is formed the MgO, means the magnesium oxide. This magnesium oxide is further react with the hot water and form MgOH twice, means the magnesium hydroxide. While the sulfur, which is react with the oxygen and form sulfur dioxide, which is further react with the water